At this point, you should have tried some of these problems by factoring each polynomial. So I'm just going to pick a couple and just review them before we jump into our next part of this section. If you look at number 17, for example, 17 says you have 16a plus 4b. So just looking at those two numbers, I know that 4 can go into 16 4 times. So that's what I'm going to factor out. That's their common factor. That's their GCF. Then I say, well, 4 times what will give me my 16a back? That's 4a. And then I look at 4b, and I know that I just have to multiply 4 by b to get 4b back. So always looking for the biggest number in all the letters they have in common. If you looked at something like 21, you would have a 2 that would go into both those numbers, as well as an h. So we're going to have 2h on the outside. Then inside would be 7g, because 2 times 7 is 14. Then I have minus 9. The other one that I wanted to look at with you is number 27. 27, you've got 3 different terms in this one. So you really have to pay close attention of what all 3 have in common. And the only thing that they have in common is an x. So that is the only thing in 27 that we can factor out as an x. So when we rewrite it, 15x squared y squared turns into 15x y squared. And then it's plus 40, oops, wrong problem, I'm looking at it. It's going to be 25y, and then because we took out 1x, all that's left is the coefficient, the number in front of x, so that's just going to be 1. So that's just a little bit of a review of just factoring binomials and trinomials with just looking for a GCF. Idea is looking at a particular problem and then saying, well, now I need to factor by grouping. So what you need to do is you just look at your particular problem and you group them. So sometimes you can reorganize, which might be helpful. In this case, I'm going to reorganize all of my numbers. So where I have, I'm going to keep 12xy first, but then I'm going to put minus 12y, and then plus 7x minus 7. So really what I've done is group the 12s together and then the 7s together. From there, I'm going to look at the first 2 and then look at the last 2 monomials. In the first 2 monomials, they have both a 12 and a y in common. So you're going to have 12y written first. Then when I look at what's left in my parentheses, 12xy, the only thing that's left now is x. And then minus 1 is what's going to be left when I take out a 12y. Then, on my second set of monomials, we're going to take out a 7. Then what's left should be x minus 1. So what you see in the parentheses should be the exact same thing. That's how you know if you're correct. Next step is to rewrite. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to write x minus 1 first, and then whatever's on the outside of my parentheses, that becomes the other binomial. Now we've factored by grouping. All right, a couple more. So again, we can reorganize if we want to. This time I'm just going to keep them the same. We're going to take the first 2 and look at what they have in common. They have an a and a 3. So 3a times 5 would give me 15a. And 3a times negative b would give me negative 3ab. Next step is I look at my second binomial. I'm going to factor out a 4, because 4 goes into itself once and 4 goes into 25 times. I'm left with b minus 5. Now, the one thing that I notice is that this does not look the same. Inside the parentheses, we don't have the same idea, because 5 minus b is just negative b plus 5. And my 5 needs to be negative. So that means I need to go back and look at either taking out a negative 4, which is I think what I'm going to do. So what I have to change is taking out a negative 4. That changes the signs inside the parentheses, so it'll be the same. Then, when I rewrite it, I have 3a minus 4, and then 5 minus b. Okay, next one. Again, group the first two. They have in common a 2x. Then, inside will be 5x minus 7y. And that is your answer. Last example. This is how you would go about solving a factored quadratic. You first take x minus 2 and set that equal to 0. Then you take 4x minus 1 and set that equal to 0. From there you solve for x for each problem, and then you have your two answers. We'll practice more next time.